Hello, world and universe. Welcome to the Trevor Donald Experience. Manifest your truth. And if you're new to the channel, please hit that like and subscribe button. And for all my continued followers, I want to say thank you. And this is an opinion-based video channel where I try to open your eyes and ears up to some of the travails and tribulations that take place throughout our cities, our states, our country, and sometimes around the world. And I want to do a video today talking about the meeting that President Trump had with the South African president and right at the White House. And now we're starting to see a repeated behavior of the U.S. President Trump, having these meetings with other presidents of other countries, like he had initially with Zelensky, the president of Ukraine, and how that turned into a debacle and a huge argument. And now he had this same situation with the president of South Africa. And so I know Trump is trying to go with this whole transparency situation. Historically, you know, in our U.S. government, most meetings are done in the dark and very little comes to light. However, the way Trump is going about it is showing a certain level of bullying, and us being the all-knowing and all-powerful is of the world. And it makes you wonder, do we live in the United States of America or the United States of the world? Are we trying to, we are the superpower, China's right there with us, but are we trying to dip our hands in everybody else's business and not take care of what's going on right here under our nose in America? And this situation with this South African president has a lot of dichotomies in it. And to start with, we all know about apartheid. I think it's a little bit antithetical to think that you have white South Africans or white Africans in South Africa. That means that if you are European descent, you migrated to Africa. You're not truly an African. And for white apartheid to have been in existence for decades after decades, through the American support of apartheid several decades ago, it's a little interesting that now you had all kinds of genocide taking place. You had people going to jail for their political beliefs in South Africa during the apartheid times. It reminds you of the 60s, the 50s and the 60s in the United States of America, in dealing with civil rights and Dr. Martin Luther King and Malcolm X. Many people of color went to jail for their political beliefs and fighting and bucking the system. South Africa was the same exact way. And South Africa apartheid would have never existed without the support of America. So there were many Africans, black Africans, that died during the apartheid scenario and or lost their freedom. Just look at Nelson Mandela, who spent almost 30 years in prison for him bucking the system during the apartheid regime. And for Donald Trump now to come out and have this certain nuance to his theory that white South Africans are being killed and murdered by black South Africans, that seems a little hubris to me. Where was America when apartheid existed for decades and true black Africans were being killed by European white settlers in Africa? Here again, I'm going to say it again, it's a little bit antithetical to be a white European person and to call yourself African from a truly historical perspective. And so now for Trump to paint this picture that black Africans, I have to separate black and white, black South Africans are just going buck wild on white South Africans and taking their land, Well, you do remember historically, white South Africans had been doing that to black Africans for decades, decades. And we're not sure this story is even true. So it gives you this impression. Why didn't that take place during the Reagan administration, in the 80s, during the Bush administration? Apartheid was running very powerful, and was running based on extremes uh, of holding down truly black South Africans. This does not look good for Trump. Here again, worrying about the white power structure in South Africa, and you have a black South African president there that can take care of his own country. Why are we even over there? No different than the situation with Zelensky. And to have that kind of pandering, that arguing that took place in the White House, in the Oval Office, where Trump is now bringing in certain individuals, and then he's just badgering them and baiting them into an argument, does not look good for us. Do we need transparency with these meetings? Absolutely. But for it to go into an argument, and definitely with the Zelensky scenario, and then you had Vice President J.D. Vance getting involved in it, it looked like white male patriarchal systems at its finest. We should be worried about America. We've sent billions and billions of dollars to the Ukraine-Russia war. We are funding and sending billions of dollars to the Gaza Strip war. And why are we in South Africa? Here again, all countries have a certain level of genocide. They have a certain level of poverty, rich versus poor. And we have that right under our nose in America. But to start bringing in these presidents from these other countries and berating them on national TV, I don't think that's a good look, and I think it's going to backfire. The United Nations, everybody in the world knows that the United States is a first world country, and we don't have to shove it down everybody's throat or shove it into everyone's face. Trump is showing his arrogance at a premium right about now. I'm not an avid Trump supporter. I think the Democratic base lost the race more than Trump won it. And Trump, for us Americans, we have to look at, for those who don't like Trump, many of us voted him into office. I was not one of them, but this is a time where, first time in history, that we have basically a celebrity as our president, who is probably one of the most arrogant individuals I've ever seen. But in support of Trump, Trump is being Trump. Trump has always been an arrogant, self-absorbed individual, a narcissist. So none of this should surprise anyone who has paid any attention to Donald Trump. But I do not get why he is bringing in these presidents from foreign countries and then deciding to argue and go at them right there in the Oval Office. I think this is creating a temperament, a boiling point, that we're not building collateralized friendships with other countries and presidents. We're creating distance and space, and it's feeding into this entire mantra for the United States of America and its leadership to be a white male patriarchal system. And if you don't do what they say, then you are wrong and you are crazy. And that's not necessarily the case. That scenario, that meeting that he had with Zelensky, I did not think it went well. I did not think it made us look good from a professional standpoint. I think Donald Trump and J.D. Vance embarrassed themselves with Zelensky. Zelensky's fighting a war as we speak against Russia. The last thing he needs to be concerned about is how Donald Trump feels about the scenario. The United States should have been worried about South Africa many, many decades ago when the apartheid regime was locking individuals up, killing them, decimating the true Africans from South Africa. We should have been involved with that many decades ago. Why we are involved and sitting down with the South African president today makes very little sense to me. We should be concentrating on the migrant issue. We should be concentrating on homelessness, helplessness. There have been at least 3 disasters that have taken place in the last year and a half here in America. Hurricane Helene in North Carolina and Florida that decimated that panhandle on the East Coast. You had the wildfires within the last 6 months in LA County, and now you've had a $1.6 to $2 billion tornado disaster that took place in St. Louis. Those are the issues we need to be looking at. Also, you have right now where China is buying up a lot of land in Africa as a whole as we speak. So what is the entire issue and the relevance for us to be sitting down with the South African president right now? I can see where Trump wanted to sit down with Zelensky. You have this active Russia and Ukraine war, but we should be coming to some kind of resolution when our leaders are meeting with other leaders across the world. I didn't think that they got a whole lot accomplished with Zelensky talking about the Russian-Ukraine conflict. It seemed to me that Trump was trying to force Zelensky into a certain seat that Zelensky was not willing to do. But we have to remember in America, we supported apartheid financially, quietly, and we also have supported Israel quietly. So it makes you wonder what is really going on in the Gaza Strip war, what is going on in Yemen. We have started many brush fires throughout this entire world, and then we want to look like Big Brother and come in and save the day. Our politicians, we have to make them accountable. The way that Trump is manhandling individuals, not only in America, whether it's USAID, FEMA, the IRS, many of our alphabet organizations that represent our federal government. Trump is trying to dismantle many of our governmental agencies, the Veterans Agency. We have to make sure that we hold him accountable to the things that he is doing, and it does not turn into a dictatorship. We have to make sure that we're headed in the right direction. And I don't see, and there was a ton of hypocrisy in Trump sitting down with the South African president and talking about all of this kinds of genocide that's taking place with white farmers. If that is true, then that needs to be taken care of, but I don't understand why the South African government can't take care of itself. There's genocide being taken place right here in America in our urban communities with black-on-black crime. That is happening every day. If Black Lives Matter, they matter no matter who is the perpetrator, whether it's a white male, white female, or a black male or black female committing a crime against another person of color. That makes no difference. All lives matter. And if Trump is going to start sitting down with all of these different presidents throughout the country, at some point, if I was the president of the country, I would dare not sit down with him. I'm not going to come to his house, the Oval Office, the White House, and let him just sit there and berate me when he doesn't live in South Africa. He probably doesn't know very much of what's going on in South Africa. Donald Trump needs to concern himself with the issues in America. So I'm not liking him sitting down with Zelensky and berating him. I'm not liking him sitting down with the president of South Africa and berating him. And if this is something that is going to be going on for the next 4 years, I think it's making Trump look like a severe bully, and not concentrating on our economy, on how these tariffs are going to affect our economy. The price of goods and services are going up. The middle class is suffering. The American dream has been lost and has become the American nightmare. And our U.S. politicians need to be concerned about what's within the borders of the United States of America and not be so concerned with what's going on outside our borders. Tell me what you think. This has been the Trevor Donald Experience.